The U.S. Senate, the upper chamber of Congress, plays a crucial role in the legislative process, serving as a counterbalance to the more populous House of Representatives. The election system for the Senate is designed to ensure stability, equal representation for all states, and a long-term perspective on governance. This article delves into the structure of the Senate, the election process, the role of political parties, and how the Senate compares to other legislative bodies worldwide. Structure of the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate consists of 100 members, with each state represented by 2 senators, regardless of population size. This structure ensures that smaller states have equal representation in one of the legislative bodies, balancing the population-based representation of the House of Representatives. Senators serve 6-year terms, with elections staggered so that 1/3 of the Senate seats are up for election every 2 years. This structure promotes continuity and prevents the entire chamber from turning over during a single election cycle. The staggered elections mean that the Senate remains a stable legislative body, with long-term members providing experience and continuity. This is in contrast to the House, where all members are up for election every 2 years, leading to potentially more frequent shifts in the balance of power. Eligibility and election process. To run for the Senate, a candidate must meet 3 primary qualifications: be at least 30 years old, have been a U.S. citizen for at least 9 years, be a resident of the state they wish to represent at the time of the election. Senators are elected through direct elections by the people of their states. However, this was not always the case. Prior to the 17th Amendment in 1913, senators were chosen by state legislatures. The amendment established the direct election system, allowing voters to have a direct say in who represents them in the Senate. Senate elections are held every 2 years, coinciding with midterm elections or presidential elections, depending on the cycle. Voters in each state elect their senators on a first-past-the-post basis, meaning the candidate with the most votes wins, even if they do not secure a majority. The role of political parties in Senate elections. As with the House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate is dominated by the 2 major political parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Senate campaigns are often some of the most expensive political contests in the U.S. This is due to the high stakes involved in securing a Senate seat and the importance of maintaining party control in the chamber. Campaigns for the Senate can cost tens of millions of dollars, with candidates relying on fundraising from political action committees, PACs, individual donors, and national party organizations. The cost of Senate campaigns is particularly high in large or competitive states, where media markets are expensive, and the races draw significant attention from both political parties and national interest groups. Candidates spend heavily on advertising, outreach, and voter mobilization efforts, particularly in states with large and diverse populations. Senate elections that coincide with midterm elections, held 2 years after a presidential election, are often seen as a referendum on the sitting president's performance. Historically, the president's party tends to lose seats in midterms, as voters express dissatisfaction with the administration or seek to balance power by giving the opposing party greater control of Congress. This pattern makes Senate elections during midterms highly significant for both parties, as they can shift the balance of power in the chamber and impact the president's ability to pass legislation. When Senate elections occur during presidential election years, voter turnout is typically higher, and the outcome can be influenced by the overall momentum of the presidential race. Senate candidates running in battleground states or closely contested areas may align their campaigns with the presidential candidate of their party, seeking to capitalize on national trends and voter enthusiasm. The Senate holds several unique powers that distinguish it from the House of Representatives. One of its most important roles is in confirming presidential appointments, including federal judges, cabinet members, and ambassadors. The Senate also has the sole authority to ratify treaties, a critical component of U.S. foreign policy. Additionally, the Senate plays a key role in the impeachment process. While the House of Representatives has the power to impeach a president or other federal officials, it is the Senate that conducts the trial and ultimately decides whether to convict and remove the official from office. Conviction requires a 2/3 majority in the Senate, making this a rare and significant action. The Senate's more deliberative nature, due to its smaller size and longer terms, allows it to take a broader, more strategic approach to governance compared to the House. Filibuster and Senate procedures. One of the most distinctive features of the Senate is the filibuster, a procedural tactic that allows a minority of senators to delay or block legislation by extending debate indefinitely. To end a filibuster, a supermajority of 60 senators must agree to invoke cloture, which limits further debate and brings the issue to a vote. The filibuster has been a subject of significant controversy, with some arguing that it preserves minority rights in the Senate, while others contend that it stymies legislative progress and prevents the passage of important laws. In recent years, the Senate has used the nuclear option to bypass the filibuster for certain types of votes, including the confirmation of judicial nominees. This move reduces the number of votes needed to confirm appointments, making it easier for the majority party to push through its nominees. Comparisons to other legislative bodies. The U.S. Senate structure and election process differ significantly from those of other legislative bodies worldwide. For example, the House of Lords in the United Kingdom, while also an upper chamber, is not directly elected by the people. Similarly, the Bundesrat in Germany represents the states at the federal level, but is composed of delegates appointed by the state governments, not elected by the public. This differs from the U.S. Senate, where members are directly elected and wield considerable legislative power. Conclusion: the U.S. Senate election system is a crucial component of American democracy, providing a balance between the states and ensuring that every state, regardless of size, has equal representation in one of the two legislative chambers. With its staggered election cycles, long terms, and unique powers, the Senate plays a stabilizing role in the U.S. government, allowing for long-term policymaking and significant influence over both domestic and international affairs. The direct election of senators through a popular vote, combined with the procedural complexities of the Senate, ensures that the chamber remains both democratic and deliberative, serving as a check on rapid changes and short-term political pressures. Understanding how the Senate election system works is essential for appreciating its role in shaping the laws and policies of the United States.